times, they can remove your criminal justice information computer. And if you've got 1 gig that's really, really, really bad, like you've done something terrible, egregious, they can remove your criminal justice information. So you then have to reach out to some other agency like Central Montana or somebody to do all that for you, and that's of course expensive, and we don't wanna do that. So was very pleased with that. We've had a lot of people in jail lately, like I think we were at 7 here the other day.
Yeah, I only have 1 inmate though in there based on my charges. Maybe 2.
Right, some of them are DOC, some of them are, which we're getting paid for, Fox Red, so we're not, we had 2 DOC inmates for a really long time, so they were paying us $82.50, I think it was $165 a day for both of them, which was, you know, that's kind of a nice check every day. So that's that. We hired Cody Dimmick Bascom back, and she was a plug-and-play communications officer.
Oh, yeah.
And so because of that, I was then able to break Ms. Donna Randall, and we all know Donna. Donna Randall, you know, commissioners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she has a sister as a deputy, right?
Yeah, I think they're twin sister.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Older sister.
Is it an older sister? It might be an older sister. It's her mom. You're covering that, right? Okay. Anyhow, Donna is here and is starting the court compliance program. And we're gonna kind of start, Donna has communicated with me, I've been able to give her a thumbs up a couple of times. That was as long as my brain was functioning, thumbs up, but, I put the claim in, signed for you for the chairs and the mouse and everything, we're gonna get it out of here. Because the court compliance program was basically dead in the water, we have a full budget on her to use.
Yeah.
We would like to cram some stuff in here right now to get it in this budget cycle. We bought her a new chair, we bought her a mouse and some stuff. You got your computer and everything running? Everything's up and running now, and you're the network, and we're good. Ms. Randall has some really great ideas about some stuff coming up, and I think the court compliance program will be better than it ever has been. It'll be really nice to have her down there. I'm starting to sound like Trump. I've watched too much Fox.
It's good.
It's big and beautiful.
Better than it ever was. It's better deal. It's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful court compliance. Don't make me laugh. Anyhow, but we're gonna have some claims here coming in. We're gonna get her into this program, $770 for training there to get your.
That's for the driver,
The driver
the
stuff.
defensive driver.
Right,
It's
and then
pricey.
your criminal thinking and all those other ones, how do those
Some of
all?
them are free, but there's a couple of them, that one I've gotta do the $10 a month, but I should only need to do 1 month, knock out the class and be done with that.
Okay.
And then, so far that's what we're looking at, but then we need to get some equipment for mowing, we gotta put
Right,
this.
that's the other thing that Donna was gonna be, with court compliance, especially with the juveniles, she will be able to have her little chain gang.
Also do some lawn mowing?
Oh, lawn mowing, painting,
Yeah.
one of the things I would really like to see is a new coat of paint down at the fairgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and all that pipe that looks a
Yeah.
little bit rusty, so we need to, and I guess some of that, how that'll balance is she'll have to buy the product, you know, the paint, the Scotch Brite or whatever.
Well, I mean, if it's fairgrounds, it might come out of their budget, so.
Well, actually.
It is free labor for improvements. I'm
Yeah,
following you with that.
probably-
See, I'm bringing the man hours, they can bring the paint.
Well, or some, and the product, so there's some of that. But we need to, and then, of course, if they're on court compliance, then they have to be on our workers' comp, and that's $50 a deal, I think they have to pay that. There's a whole bunch of little nuances of that. And
It's $25 for 50 hours.
$25 for
They-
50
they
hours.
pay.
I knew 50 was in there
Even if they
somehow.
only do 10 hours, somebody's gonna know.
So do they get paid $25?
No, we have to pay their workers' comp.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Charlie
they're
has a s-
paying it though, before they ever start, they have to pay that.
And
for it.
Charlie has a spreadsheet that you can use to put in their hours so that we can adequately report
Got
that to
it.
workers' comp.
We're there. Yep, we're on it. She already shared it with me, so we're gonna
Okay.
keep that rolling.
So, and we can also, there's like, if there's old people in this community that need their lawn
Yeah,
mowed,
yeah.
that'd be really good. You know, we can, there'll be some of those type of things.
We've been asking about that.
I'm not meaning it, but the last time we started this, it was decided that it had to be people that did not have anybody else around to do it. If you guys wanna change that, that's fine, but it will open a can of worms where people will be calling, well, I want my lawn mowed.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I was thinking that right now.
I was thinking of Mike's lawn too.
I'm just saying, I mean, I would
My-
take kids
my
out
dri-
there
my
and mow,
driveway
and the
needs to be
neighbors would
raked
come out
out,
and goes, I want
so-
it done.
Don't they really get after
Makes total sense.
And they have
elected
to be
officials
16
using
to
county
mow the lawn.
assets for,
Okay.
I seem to remember
No.
something about that.
Can't imagine.
Fire
Yeah.
protection. all
Yeah,
that.
I got that on the list
Didn't,
of
like,
stuff in
the
there.
one Granite County up
I saw that
Silver,
on the
didn't
notes.
he have the new paver pave his driveway? I remember something about
Built
that.
the road, paved it.
Yeah, I remember, yeah, well, they had to test it out, it was practice, you know.
Yes, I totally get it.
If you get a paver, we're gonna practice on my driveway, so. So, that's where we're at. When do you want to have a budget meeting with me?
Today,
Cause you're weaker and we can dominate.
You're vulnerable.
No, not happening.
Next week. So basically, they're gonna take all your
Yeah, we're
money.
gonna,
Next
we're gonna
week.
schedule next week.
Next week,
next
so
week,
what
yeah.
day?
Well, we haven't scheduled it yet. What's a good day for you?
Tuesday afternoon is not a good day for me.
Okay, well, we won't-
But so I have a meeting with Border Patrol on Wednesday at 10 or 11 in the morning, so afternoon.
Well, I can't do Tuesday or Wednesday because I have Nancy coming.
Yeah, we need to prepare.
Yeah, plus we
need to
gotta-
schedule.
Either Monday, we could do it Monday, if you're up for Monday,
I don't know.
hopefully,
I don't think we're gonna do it
on Monday.
or Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday probably is better.
But Mike, I mean, we need to know, can you email me a list of who works for you and whether they're full or part-time?
What?
Plan.
Say that again, who works for me?
Right, and
And,
whether they're full or part-time,
okay,
and if you're planning on hiring somebody else.
I'm not
I
planning
think
on.
he's done.
Yeah, well, they really were really good. It's beautiful.
So it'll be a beautiful email.
It'll be a beautiful email. Oh my God.
Big, beautiful.
A big beautiful email.
It'll be wonderful, it'll be great for your
Right.
budget.
Yeah.
No, because we just did the road department and,
Okay,
you know, they're,
so
great.
I only have one part-time employee, that's Janice. She's 20 hours a week.
Good.
Everybody else is full-time. Everybody else, with the exception of Leon, the detention officer, who is a 40-hour employee for me.
Okay.
Everybody else was on the 7K exemption, and that's
Yeah.
that's where it's at. So
7K exemption.
What's that?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, but I wasn't gonna ask.
I'm asking.
But
Well,
since he asked,
we can get, the bottom line though is the things we went over with the road departments, we validated the list of who worked for him. He says he's gonna wanna hire 2 seasonal workers for a maintenance crew in the
Right.
summer.
right.
And then we looked at, what was the other thing that was important? Healthcare, whether they're participating fully or partially,
Yeah, and everybody's full.
everybody's full.
Everybody's full in my agency.
And then the other piece that we've never really talked about is whether you want a budget for some overtime.
Well, we always budget for some overtime.
Not till I can tell you, you know. Remember, you had nothing to do with.
I never had anything to do with
So
that.
if you're, just be thinking about that, okay?
Right.
That if you, and it doesn't have to be exact,
Well, and here's the situation, okay. The 7K exemption. 7K exemption is a federal exemption for the Fair Labor Standard Act, and it's the 7K exemption in the Fair Labor Standard Act. It previously, when we were a month, because we just recently went from a once a month paycheck to now we get every paycheck every 2 weeks. Okay. Previously, it was very difficult to stay on top of it, and it made you want to shoot yourself. You really had to lobotomize yourself to understand it. Because the 7K exemption previously on the month thing was a 28-day period. And in that 28-day period, if the deputies worked more than 171 hours, so anything over 171 was overtime. And all the different things that were confusing on that was that there was 13 overtime periods in a 12-month paid, oh yeah, it was.
28-day cycle.
On the 28-day cycle. So the month of December had 2 overtime periods in it. I made, as you remember the spreadsheet I made a spreadsheet because it was so confusing that no one could understand it. I made a spreadsheet that figured it for everybody, and it was really beautiful.
It was a big, beautiful
It was a big,
spreadsheet.
beautiful spreadsheet in Excel. Anyhow, since we have gone to the 2-week pay periods, it has streamlined it significantly. The only thing, and as I told the commissioners, previously, whoever figured out the 28-day 7K exemption, they were wicked smart, because it was almost impossible to get overtime.
Yep.
It literally, because you had a holiday, you worked a holiday, it didn't count. Took vacation, it didn't count. Or sick leave, it didn't count. So all those hours, so if you had, and you think about it, all the months that have holidays, the only really the months that you could kind of maybe get overtime was March or May, because there's that window there that there's no holidays. And all the rest of them, they never got overtime. Which brings me to another thing to talk about that we need to talk about. But anyhow, it is, yeah, now that we've streamlined it, it's a lot easier to get overtime. But it was really interesting, I actually called Utah about this, because the 28-day was 171. Now, I went to school and I remember that half of 171 is 85.5. The 14-day is 86, so you steal another half an hour. So everything that they work, they have to work 86 hours in a 2-week period to get into the overtime period. They're scheduled to work 84 hours because they do 36 and then 48. So they're already scheduled. So it is easier for them to get overtime, so we haven't seen as much. But the other problem with it is that we're stable. We haven't had any vacancy savings. Always previously, back in the good old days, there was always somebody quitting. Well, I haven't had anybody quit. I've only had 2 quit in the last 6.5 years. So you don't get the vacancy savings anymore, so then it becomes problematic. That being said.
that's all right, we don't need to wear you out on that.
No.
I think we're,
Right.
that's just what we
We,
validate
there
that,
is-
and then we'll put it together, we'll take your sheet that have you guys filled out your
Right.
sheet? We'll take that, and actually, if you could copy that and scan it to us in advance, it would really help.
Well, you'll have it before it's
Are
over.
we saying 2 o'clock, or what do we wanna meet on Thursday?
That's fine. That'll work.
Does that work for you?
Okay. Let's talk about the ride real quick. They're about to push me over the edge, and they really are. The ride is a nonprofit special entity. I understand that it's a very popular thing here from Muscle County. Big deal, big beautiful 4th of July extravaganza.
Tremendous political clout,
Anyhow.
with the governor. Well, go ahead.
Anyhow, and we get these really big programs in, they continually get bigger every single year.
Yeah.
And they rely on us to be their security. Now, 2 years ago when we had whoever, and there was a ton of people, we had a kid come from Mineral County down here and helped us, cause we reached out and got a couple of extra, and then we had some deputies from Yellowstone County come out. Now, the ride didn't even have to pay for the kid up, because they never submitted a bill, because earlier that year, when they had the officer involved shooting, I sent Travis up there with the dog for, I don't know, a week or two, I can't remember how long he was up there, he was up there for a while. And I never charged him for it, I never sent a bill up there for him, I mean, it's just helping another sheriff out. So they got the reimbursement of that for free, Mineral County never sent a bill, they got it for free, so they were like, oh, that was great, right? Last year we had a no reimbursement Madison County deputy come, and we had Madison County and I can't remember who else. But ultimately Madison County sent a bill and it was big. It was like $1,400 for 2 nights. Which when you mileage and overtime and boom. Plus Madison County has, I think their union, so their overtime for special duties is like $70 an hour or some crazy stuff. So they were all like, oh my God, that's so expensive, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm like, look. And of course they had to put him up in a hotel and feed him at the Airbnb, and they were all gnashing their teeth about that. So I have repeatedly told them, in no uncertain terms, they serve alcohol in mass quantities there. The standard is if you're serving alcohol at an event like that, you should have 1 security guard for every 75 people. Well, we're about 30 freaking security guards short on where we're at there. Now, knock on wood, we've been able to manage to sneak our ways through every year and not have an incident. But the fact of the matter is that we are woefully short on help, and
Get out on a limb.
and if it rolls, there's not gonna be much we can do, because, I mean, that is a massive crowd. I'm not sending my deputies into that crowd, it's not safe for them, because it's just, so all we're gonna do is wait for it to get over and clean up a bit pieces, I guess. That being said, so this year I was like, well, listen, instead of hiring or reaching out to these other agencies where you gotta bring them and pay, why don't you pay my off-duty deputies? Because there's on one side, right, well, yeah, right, it'd be really simple, right? Just write them a $400 check each
Yeah.
for, right, that's $50 an hour for an 8-hour day, just write them a straight $400. Doesn't go over the money for reportable to the IRS, and there'll be 4 of them off, so we'll do 2 one day and 2 the next day, so then, right.
We did that at Costco when we hired police officers for private. We did that.
Right, exactly.
It's not out
Right.
of the realm.
And they continually have, well, how do we do this? I mean, write on a $400 check. Well, and they just continually.
They don't wanna pay for security.
They don't wanna pay for security.
And who do you have to talk to with Ryan?
Well, right now, Mark Shoup, and Mark Shoup's the former Highway Patrol, Mark Shoup, he's in charge of the security detail and this, that, and the other. But I have repeatedly talked to them about limiting the beer consumption, because we've all been there, how many people have you seen go up to the beer garden, walk away from the beer garden with 15 beers in their freaking hand? Where are those beers going? There's no control. Even if we see MIPs drinking in the middle of that crowd, we can't go into that crowd. It's just not safe. It's a recipe for a disaster. But Mark's latest, the ride's latest thing to me, which, and again, they continually, well, can we just write the sheriff's office a $1,600 check? So, this is something for probably you to hear
Okay.
about the ride. Okay, so the ride is going to hire 2 of my off-duty deputies one night and 2 the next night.
Yeah.
$400 per deputy per night, straight cash. It's gonna be a nice little thing for those guys to get. And it will save the budget on the county too, because when those guys are here working for me, we pay them overtime for that. And that's a very large, because one of them's on the 4th, so that's holiday pay, right? So if they're working as special contractors, I don't have to pay them the holiday pay, it will save the county some money. Do you see a problem, and this is, the ride is, again, continually annoying me, but, because they keep complicating it. They don't have to report it because it's not over $500, so it's under the $500 threshold. We'll do 2 deputies one night, 2 deputies the next night. The night deputy, the following night will be either a day shift deputy. I'll have it worked out so he won't have to worry. He'll work the first 2 shifts and not the second 2 shifts. So, but ultimately, if the ride writes the sheriff's office a $1,600 check, can I take the check down to First Security Bank, cash the check, walk up, give $400 to each one of my deputies at work, take my 30% kickback? No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not gonna get it, we will.
You want the 30% kickback? Okay.
26%.
We'll split it, 50-50,
So
okay? I think you want in on this, too, you know? Yeah, okay, we'll all go to jail together.
Yeah.
We are being recorded.
Yeah, but I'm hypoxic, so I don't know what I'm saying.
The way I've seen other communities and counties handle this in the past, and this was around Southwest Montana, is that there would be a call out for whoever wanted to do it, and then they'd get paid overtime for whatever hours they were working. And then whatever the organization is would pay the county the equivalent of that overtime.
Yeah.
And then, but this is it.
You're trying to save everybody money, but
I understand the saving everybody
I
money and
get what you're
everything.
saying too.
And, but the reason for doing it that way, okay, and I'm not saying you can't do it this way. I'm saying the reason for doing it that way is because they were officially working for the county.
They're always officially working for the county, if they're in my uniform,
They've
my
got
badge.
coverage, there's
Okay.
liability.
But they are,
They're covered,
they're always covered.
yeah.
They're always covered. If they are in civilian clothes, driving their personal vehicle, and there's an incident on the side of the highway and they intervene in a law enforcement capacity, they are covered by our insurance, by our workers' comp, by
I'll
our.
tell you what I think would be the easiest. If they wanna make a private agreement with your deputies, they need to do that. Otherwise, it needs to go through the county. They can't be sending you a check and then you go in and cash it.
I would feel much better if they were just independently paying the deputies.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I wanted them to do, but they continually try to make it complicated.
Well, tell them they can't do
Tell them they
that,
can't.
or they'll
That's
get
how you have to
charged
do it.
overtime and they'll have to pay the county. They'll have to reimburse the county.
Okay, and the reimbursement for the county is the deputy's overtime wage at the rate that they are, which is going to be higher.
Yeah, that's the point. You guys
Yeah.
figure out a way to write 4 checks, or you're gonna
Yeah.
pay more.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
I think
I'm
that's
feeling that.
solvable.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, and I'm gonna go back to, let me think about it. So their book, it actually probably would be subtly cheaper because most of the deputies, I think, are somewhere in that 28 to 30, and time and a half would be 45, just call it 45. So they'd be saving $5 an hour, they'd save $40 by doing it, paying the county.
4th of
But
July,
for the, but the 4th of July, well, no,
cause that's holiday pay.
Holiday.
it's still the same, it's just time and a half.
Oh, I was thinking that double.
No, it's just time and a half.
Well, what if you tell them it's just not an option? You want them to hire him as an independent contractor or go out there and get a different security
Then
guard?
then they got all Twitter pated about the workers' comp and the,
Well,
Then tell them
honestly,
to write 4 checks.
but you know what?
Yeah.
Yes.
In my mind, that's why it should be handled, they just go through the county. The county does it, the county sends them a bill, and they reimburse them. And that way they're covered by workers' comp, all that stuff, it's a non-issue. There's no risk. And
okay,
if it's only gonna save them $5 or something.
but then, and here's, and I'm, totally, this is where I'm at.
Okay,
We're asking these guys that aren't scheduled to work
right.
on the biggest holiday of the frickin',
Tomorrow.
Okay,
to
okay.
come in and work on their days off. So they're gonna work their days off and then they're gonna be working their shift. So they're gonna work,
Yeah.
right? And they're gonna be at the parades too. and then they're gonna, and they're on their days off, there has to be some kind of pecuniary, yeah,
That was your way of addressing that.
right, because otherwise, if you do your overtime on that, then they're gonna take taxes out of it and everything else.
Am I making too big of a deal about workers' comp and liability?
Again,
Sean's making a point that they're always covered.
Yeah.
Can I talk to you out here for just a quick section?
me, yes, sir.
Real.
It sounds like it could be easily fixed.
Cash money at night.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think he could set his own rate, like necessarily doesn't have to go through the payroll system, but it could go through the claims process, where he's like, this is their usual rate, but to do this event, we're charging the ride this much per hour per deputy, and that's what we're gonna pay them?
Well, he's wanting to pay him more.
I know, that's what I'm saying, to address that, could it be that this is
handled.
the amount for the,
Saddle.
Let's handle it. We'll take care of it.
Was that something the commissioners should not know?
It's handled,
It's handled.
handled, perfect.
Live with it.
That's it. So, let's not reinvent
That's
the
what we
wheel.
wanna take
So,
care of.
all right, I've got your little budget thing. Spend as much money as you can in the next
Hour.
24 days. 24 days.
On it, sir.
Your vision, if you decide to take it, it'll be a big, beautiful office.
I don't want to be
Get that 85-inch flat screen.
Yeah,
I would really like to see some cell phone dialable shock collars for when somebody in court. We can just put on folks and it's like, oh, he was supposed to be in court. And it's like, and it'll just keep tasing them about every 10 minutes till they call in or show up.
I mean, in our fantasy world, that sounds really good, but we're not gonna go there, so.
Sean, get well.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Well, get tough or die, right?
Yeah,
Feel better, man.
You've been sick
Thank you for your
on
time.
a lot.
Next Thursday, I'll see you. I'll
Okay.
send out.
Where's
You know what? Send me an email so I have your email.
Okay. Okay.
If you're feeling better by Sunday evening, just official,
Okay,
if you're alive.
first initial, last.
Yeah.
yeah.
There is that.
Let's see,
I don't know if Jeff's gonna be here,
Are you-
All right,
but we'll see.
sounds good. Just let me
You
know.
guys should just. Yeah, you guys know.
All right.
Always have to use the restroom.
Oh, yeah.
All right, which seat was he in?
Yeah.
Which one was the sicko in?
Middle one.
The middle
It's
one.
all in the air. It's all in the air.
There.
Not in this seat.
No, which one of them, Sheriff?
This one, the important one.
Well, yeah, the other one's on vacation.